Hey friends, and welcome to today's class. For today, we're going to focus on more of a hands-free flow. So whether or not that's because you're having some discomfort within the wrists or it's a little bit more uncomfortable to be on the hands or put weight through the hands, whatever your reason may be, or you just want to focus on the lower body. For this class, that is going to be our focus. And so I do have a set of blocks with me, and the idea behind the blocks is to provide a little bit of support when transitioning from pose to pose and posture to posture. So not necessarily going to be on our hands, but sometimes if we want a little bit more stability, the blocks will be nice to help guide us there and through that space. So whenever you have what you need for today's flow, we're going to go ahead and meet in Tadasana at the top of the mat. And when coming into your space, feel free to bounce around, shift the weight. Whatever you need to, go ahead and find your center to arrive in your body, clear the mind, and give yourself a few moments to show up onto your mat and showing up for your practice today. Once those little shimmies and shakes start to get a little bit smaller and you start to find a little bit more stillness, start to shift the attention from the outside world to a little bit more of an internal space, internal focus, and focus on the breath. If you're looking for a little bit more connection, feel free to rest one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Maybe you rest here for a few breaths, or maybe you rest the arms alongside the body, fingertips reaching down toward the floor. And finding a nice tall stance here. And feel free to close your eyes here for just a few moments. As your body, your mind continue to settle in preparation for a little bit of movement. On your next inhale, go ahead and blink the eyes open. Go ahead and sweep those arms nice and big up and overhead. Make the motion nice and big. Let it feel good. Let it feel expansive. And then reach those fingertips up toward the sky even taller as you grab hold of the left wrist. And then start to reach over toward the right side of the room as you bow the rib cage over toward the left. And this might feel like everything you need here in this space. Or if you'd like to find a little bend in the knees and curtsy that left leg behind the right, maybe working your way into the front of the hip and into the side of that waist. And if we are having genuine challenges with the wrist, if you have an injury of any kind, you do not have to grab hold of the wrist. You can just find an energetic reach through the fingertips. Inhale, arms up towards center, stretch up nice and tall. Feel that extra little bit of expansion through the left side of the body, and let's transition over toward the right. So we can just find a nice arced shape over toward the left side. As we reach the fingertips toward the left, the rib cage goes towards the right, keeping everything stacked underneath one another. And then feel free to find a little curtsy of the right leg if that sensation feels a little bit nicer for you in the hips. Sometimes I like to grab hold of my waist to really feel that expansion in that space and let the energy of the right fingertips create all of that length through the right side body. Inhale, both arms come up towards center, feeling the length from left to right, right to left. And then on that inhale, maybe even deepen that back bend, maybe expand through the front body. And then exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, big sweep the arms up and overhead, find length, find height. And then on the exhale, open the arms, cactus the arms, driving the backs of the hands back behind you as the elbows come toward the hips. Feeling the muscles around the shoulder blades turning on, the front of the chest opening. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, expand the chest, drive the elbows. Inhale, arms up overhead. And then exhale, hands come through heart center, nice and slowly find a fold. Anytime we transition from the top of the mat and we're stepping back or we're coming forward, those are the moments where you are more than welcome to incorporate the blocks. So if that's something that you felt like would be helpful, just have those at the top of the mat or somewhere accessible where you can toss them in as you feel you need. Finding that fold, finding a nice heaviness of the head through the neck, heaviness through the upper back. As you feel the sit bones lengthen toward the sky. You can keep a nice soft bend in the knees. Feel free to shift your weight forward and back, swaying side to side. Just let the sensations feel good here in this moment. And then inhale, you're finding a halfway lift, whether you use the blocks or your hands resting along your shins to reach the chest beyond the front edge of the mat. Crown of the head reaches nice and long. Exhale, find your fold. Inhale, deepen the bend in the knees, root to rise, come all the way back to standing. And let it feel nice and fluid. Again, explore your space, let these motions feel good. Trying to let go of any rigidity and explore space. Exhale, hands come through heart center. We're going to find a few rounds of what I like to call circle chair. Not my own coined term from Awakening Yoga. It's a nice way of just kind of describing how you're going to move from that standing position through that forward fold as you kind of just slinky down toward the floor, and then you push through the soles of the feet and you slinky yourself back up. And not only are you moving, from that Tadasana to that forward fold, you're starting to find some side body movement. And you're kind of just, again, slinkying up, slinkying down, exploring different spaces, different sides, moving through the spine, the hips, the side waist. But staying intentional, so staying supportive through the lower body, engaging the core as you need to support your spine along your journey. And just for the next 2 or 3 more breaths, maybe this is the first time you're doing it. I haven't incorporated it in a class of mine in some time, so maybe this is new for you. And so let it feel goofy, let it feel like almost like you have like gorilla arms and they're kind of just dangling away from your body. They're not really doing a whole lot because you're focusing on the lower body, the hips, the spine, everything else. It's like you're moving with intention and without structure all at the same time. Go ahead and find Tadasana at the top of your mat. Inhale those arms up toward the sky once more. Exhale, find your fold, soften the knees, hinge the hips, hands come down just to tap the mat. Again, they can dangle, they can use the blocks. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fold on down, shift your weight into the left foot, step the right foot back in space. And then drop the back knee down, inhale, arms up overhead, Anjaneyasana. You can settle into the shape as deep as you'd like, or if you want to find a more lifted shape, again, feel what feels good. Maybe you want to transition between the two before settling into your space. And then exhale, start to send the hips back in space nice and slow. Front toes lift. Arms sweep back behind you, coming into Ardha Hanuman, half splits pose. Digging that left heel ever so slightly into the mat to keep yourself nice and balanced. And then inhale, sweep those arms back forward, come back into Anjaneyasana. Blocks are always welcome to guide you on this journey if you feel like you need to. Exhale, send those hips back, half splits, left toes lift. Inhale, sweep it back, Anjaneyasana. And then on the exhale, cactus the arms, maybe finding a little bit of expansion. Inhale, lift those arms up overhead. Find that nice tall Anjaneyasana shape, so that half kneeling position where you're a little bit more lifted in this shape, not worrying about the depth of those hips. And then using the reach of the fingertips toward the sky and the Contact between the sole of the left foot, the back toes. You're going to push through your feet, reach and lift, come into a high lunge. Inhale, find height. Exhale, settle in. Inhale, sweep those arms down, reach the chest forward, shifting your way into that left foot. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Keep those knees bent. Inhale, chair pose. Sit those hips low. Exhale, press to stand, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, find that forward fold, back down toward the mat. Hands come to blocks or they rest onto the earth. Find a breath here. On the inhale, shift the weight into that right foot. Big step of the left foot back in space. Find that runner's lunge just to start for a pause, and then nice and slow, drop the back knee down towards the mat, trying to allow those hips to settle down towards the earth. Inhale the arms up and overhead. And if you have any discomfort in the knee, you can always place a towel, a blanket underneath that knee. Sometimes coming into this lunge position, we find that we're in a more heightened space and we can be directly on that knee versus that lower, more sunken shape. And so just finding a degree of comfort in this space. Inhale, find a nice tall reach of the fingertips. And on the exhale, start to push through that front heel, lift those toes, sink the hips back, Ardha Hanuman. Half splits. Blocks are available as you need for a little bit of stability, a little guidance. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, nice and slow, push through the heel of that front foot, lift those toes. Arms sweep down alongside the body and reach toward the back of the mat. Inhale, sweep it up. Reach tall. Exhale, cactus the arms, expand the chest. Inhale, as you lift up, you find that tall kneeling position or just a slight variation to where you were before. Using the reach of the fingertips, the energy through the back toes and the front foot, you push to lift. Find that high lunge. Nice and strong and integrated shape, relying nice and strongly on that lower body to help keep you lifted. Lift to the low belly to keep a nice engagement within the core. Reach to the fingertips. And then nice and slow, the arms start to sweep down alongside the body as you tilt the chest forward. Take more weight into that right foot. Left foot comes forward to meet the right. Inhale, sit the hips low, chair pose. Settle into your space. Really sink those knees forward as far as you can. Then sink those hips back like you're reaching back for a chair. How low can you sit into this space? Exhale, hands to heart center, press to stand. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Maybe find a little bit of a back bend if that feels good. Exhale, hands come through heart center, hinge the hips, forward fold. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On the inhale, shift the weight into the left foot, right foot steps back in space. Inhale those arms up overhead, finding that crescent lunge. Drop the back heel. Keep that front leg as it is. Come into warrior two. Settle deeper into those hips, staying committed to that front knee. Sink in here, let the hips settle. Feel the strength of your lower body, keeping your shape nice and tall. Press through that front knee. Reach the left fingertips up toward the sky, coming into reverse triangle. Open through that left side body. Reaching the chest up toward the sky. Staying light in that back hand. Strength of the torso, rebend into that left knee. Warrior two. Settle in here for a moment. And then you're going to sweep the right arm down as you spin onto the back toes. Find that crescent lunge once more and pause. Pulling that right hip forward as that left hip comes back in space, squaring everything off. Lifting through the belly, lifting through the fingertips. Find your shape nice and strong here. And then nice and slow, start to drop that back knee down towards the mat. Let it tap. Push yourself back up. Lower back down, let that back knee tap. And back up. Twice more, let it tap nice and slow, strong in that front leg. Integrity in your shape and lift. Nice and slow, lower all the way down. Inhale, let those hips kind of just sink and hammock down towards the floor, let it feel good. And then on the exhale, go ahead and find your half splits pose. Gentle scrub of the left heel to keep your balance, keep your stability. Inhale, lift, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half splits. Using that heel, guide you back. Keep pulling that left hip back in space. Right hip tries to sneak forward just a pinch. Inhale. Anjaneyasana, really reach tall. Pull that right hip forward, square everything off, and then exhale. Cactus, the arms really shine the heart toward the sky. Inhale. Find a nice tall half kneeling position. Reach through the fingertips, strong through the feet. Press yourself back up, lift that back knee. And then sweep those arms down alongside your body once more. Tilt the chest forward. Come into that left foot. Right foot meets the left. Inhale, sink low, chair pose. Energetic and strong in the lower body. Exhale, press to stand. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Reach tall. And exhale, hands come through heart center. Find your forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Long spine. Exhale, find your fold. Inhale. Big step of the left foot back in space. Coming into that high crescent lunge. Gentle nudge of that left hip down, that right hip back. Lifted through the belly, reaching through the fingertips. And then keeping that right knee, staying committed to that right knee. Go ahead and spin the left heel down, open your body up, warrior two. Find your shape and then settle back in. Really let those hips sink low. Gentle press of that right knee out and open, leaving yourself some room to come a little bit deeper. Press through that front leg. Reach the left fingertips down the back leg as the right arm reaches up towards the sky, shining the right side of that chest toward the sky, toward the ceiling, trying to open up through that right side body. Strength of the torso, reach those fingertips back, bend back into that right leg, warrior two. Strong and connected space here. And then left hand sweeps down alongside your body as you spin onto the back toes. Inhale, left arm comes to meet the right, finding your crescent lunge. Lifting through that left hip, reaching through the fingertips and then sink low into your space. Really let that left heel drop toward the earth. Nice and slow, you're gonna let that left knee tap the earth. Exhale, press and lift. Inhale, lower. Nice and slow, can you challenge the strength of your lower body? Exhale, press up. Two more, inhale, lower. Exhale, press up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press up. Last one, inhale, nice and slow. You let that left knee come down towards the earth. Find a deeper inhale as you really find a nice deep back bend. Let it feel good, opening through the front of that left hip, through the low belly. And then on the exhale, press through that front heel. Arms sweep down, half splits. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, lift up. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, press it back, half splits. Inhale, lift up. Expand through the front body, and then exhale, cactus the arms, expand the chest. Inhale, come back to that taller half kneeling position. Strength through the feet, reach to the fingertips, press and lift, crescent lunge. Pause here in your strength. And then arms come alongside the body, tilt the chest forward, come into that right foot. Left foot comes to meet the right. Deep bend through the knees as you maximize how much depth you can get into those ankles, and then sit the hips back. The lower you go, the more energetic you feel in that lower body, the more of a challenge you'll find here in this space. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, press to stand, hands come to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up and overhead. Exhale, hands come through heart center, find your fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Deep bend in the knees. Find your way onto a seat. Let those sit bones find the earth. And then just find a nice, comfortable seated position. Soles of the feet come together. Clasp the hands, holding onto the pinky edge side of the feet. Find a nice tall spine. And then exhale, find a fold. So feel free to, before you find that fold, I kind of came right into it because I was feeling good, I was ready for it. But find your sit bones first. Feel free to flap those butterfly wings just a moment to kind of wiggle out any tension that may have built in the hips from that building of strength. Then find that inhale, that tall spine. Then find your fold. Using the elbows alongside the inner lining of the knees, just to help gently encourage those knees to fall out a little bit wider. Inhale, come back upright. Right foot is going to stay towards the inner lining of that left leg, and the left leg is going to extend out. Here you have options. There's always options for everything, but here you have quite a few. So what options here? You can have the right foot along the inner lining of that left leg. You can square off over that left thigh, and you can fold down. You can just find a nice little hamstring stretch here in this space. Maybe that's what's calling you here in this moment. You can also maybe bring that left leg out a little bit wider. Maybe you slide the left arm inside the left leg, and maybe you spin the chest out and open. Maybe this is where you want to be. Maybe you want to bring that right arm up and overhead to deepen that twist and open through the right side body. There are ways to progress here in this space. Use the blocks as you need to explore the space, the sensation that feels good. Again, we can just find a more linear space, just stretching over that left leg, or we can find a twist. We can grab the sole of the foot, the outside edge of the foot, twisting over the left leg. Options. Knowing that you are in the comfort of your own home, you are welcome to just about anything. Doesn't have to look at all like what I'm doing. Just kind of guiding you through as we wind down here in this space. Come on up, let's go ahead and switch sides. After I talk your ear off on that side, find what feels good on the other side. It may be the same, it may be different. It is your practice, it is your body. As long as you are exploring your space with mindfulness, with awareness, with a bit of intuition, there is truly no real wrong you can do for your body if you are moving your body. Two more breaths. And you can use the blocks as much or as little as you like in these final poses. If you do have any true injuries within those wrists that you are not able to move in that space, use the blocks as you need, or just find a more passive space with the final few poses. It's nice and slow. Go ahead and find your way onto your back. And we're just going to go ahead and cross that right ankle over top the left thigh. We're not going to hang out in our our reclined pigeon, we're just gonna go ahead and find a nice twist right from this space. So allow everything to fall over toward the left side. And to find a little bit more depth into the hips, gentle press of the outer lining of that right knee toward the top left corner of the mat. Feel free to rest that right arm up and overhead or capital T. Subtle stretch to the chest. Come on back through center, uncross the right leg. Cross the left over the right, gentle opening of that left knee before you then allow everything to fall over toward the right side. You can hold on to your left ankle, but it's not a requirement. And then find a little bit more depth by reaching the outside edge of that left knee toward the top right corner of the mat. Feel the depth within that right hip, feeling those sensations. And then come on back through center. Unhook the left foot, bring those feet nice and wide, and just find a few windshield wipers left to right. Bring the knees in toward the chest. Feel free to give them a hug with your forearms. And then nice and slow, go ahead and extend the legs out nice and long. Bring the legs wide. Arms out nice and wide, away from the sides of the body. And scooping the tush underneath your hips, the shoulder blades underneath your chest. Toes fall out toward the side, palms are facing the sky. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Gaze is straight up towards the sky, so there's a gentle lift of the chin away from the chest. And if you haven't already, go ahead and close your eyes. Soften the gaze. And after a brief scan of your body from head to toe, fingertips to the belly, returning back to your breath. And if that bit of introversion is best supported with a connection of the hands to the chest and the belly, feel free to move into that space. And in this space, I welcome you to explore another 5-10 more breaths, whatever you need to really feel settled. If you feel like you are ready to go right ahead. You did a wonderful job here in today's class. If you did enjoy today's class, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I would love interacting with any of y'all who participate or flow with me here on this platform. And with that, I hope y'all had an awesome flow, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.